Hello, everyone. How are you? Welcome to our live. Just going to give everyone a second to jump on, make sure my audio is going as planned, and then I am going to jump in and I'm going to tell you exactly what this is, who it's for, who it's not for, so that if you don't need to be here, you can click away. Perfect. All right. So first of all, I want to welcome you to my channel. I am broadcasting on multiple channels at one time. This specific live stream is specifically for visionary leaders and entrepreneurs. Okay. So if you are someone that you know you are here to do something extraordinary through your business and your life, and you know that you have a big purpose on this planet and in this world, and you want to create a positive impact in your business community, in your personal community, in this world, then you are in the right place, first off. Secondly, if you are one of those visionary entrepreneurs and leaders who is really tired of trying to shrink yourself or contort yourself to fit into these systems and these containers that were never built for you, you are very much in the right place. And I'm going to tell you how to get out of it in about 2 seconds, right? So if you've been doing all the right things and you either your soul is whispering or you are very clear that whatever is going on in the way that you've been taught to set up your life, maybe the way you've been taught to set up your business, the way that you are trying to market your business, the way you are trying to serve your clients, you're like, something is off here, or you're already like, I know this has been off. I've been doing my own thing for a while, but whatever it is, you are like, this still is not it. Like, I do not feel fully aligned, then welcome. My name is Kelly O'Neill, and I am a serial entrepreneur. I'm a futurist, a business and brand strategist. And for the last 25 years, I have been teaching clients and consulting and providing advisory services to clients all over the world about how to build brands and businesses that create impact in the world. And very specifically, I've done personally a bunch of personal development and healing work so that I can become the most conscious leader possible and that I can continue to evolve and deliver my purpose work and my legacy work here on the planet. So I've been doing this, like I said, a very long time, 25 years. I had a very successful corporate career. You guys can go look at my website and you can see my whole trajectory, look at my bio. You can kind of see the background of what led me to the place that I am in now and delivering this legacy work that I am here to get out into the world now. And what that starts with, because there's two things, right? There's the Epic AF movement, which is really raising the standard. I'm going to talk about what that is in the market. And then it's once you've gotten to that place, it's how do you build a business in today's world that feels good, that feels aligned, that's in alignment with your purpose and your passion and your genius and your skill set. And how are we doing that in today's world? Because the way we were taught to build business is no longer working for a lot of us. Okay. So I just want to let you know, this is not another business hack. It's not some leadership tactic. What I teach is not stuff. You may have heard bits and pieces of it before, but I've been on enough podcast interviews and taught this enough behind the scenes to know that what I've created here in this Epic AF movement doesn't exist in the market, which is exactly my purpose in this world. I am here to disrupt the status quo. I am here to liberate people from the paradigms that no longer serve them. And I'm here to help thought leaders and visionaries bring in the next generation of their work into the world so that we can all impact humanity and leave the world a better planet on before we leave it. Okay. So this Epic AF movement is all about reclaiming your life. And yes, as a part of your life, as entrepreneurs, that includes your business, right? Life and business are not separate. They're holistic. right? We don't just have business and have life separately. They are together. It's also about helping you to build the legacy that you came here to leave, right? We're all here for a greater purpose on this planet, in our world, and especially the entrepreneurs that I work with, we are we are here to get work out into the world that feels very dire to us. We have a calling that is greater than ourselves. It's not just about having a 9 to 5. It's not just about amassing millions of dollars. It is about creating impact. It is about creating a dream come true life, and it's about leading a movement of people to a better place in whatever field that is, whether that's medicine, whether that's business, whether that is mental health, whether that is well-being, whether that is spirituality. It doesn't really matter the industry. It's really about creating positive impact in the world. And really what happened was, I'll tell you a little bit about my story, is I've always been a futurist, meaning that, and I didn't realize this actually for a very, very long time. But when I look back on it now, it always was the case. I just didn't know it. So what a futurist does is, for some uncanny reason, I came factory installed with the ability to anticipate markets. I understand the market, and I don't just understand what's going on now. I understand where we're heading 10 years from now, 20 years from now. Like, I see and I understand what we're doing, and I understand how the ripple effects of everything that's going on now that's going to create the future. I saw a lot of what is happening now, and I've been talking about it for years. In 2004, I went to go publish a book called The Conscious Entrepreneur, which was about blending life, spirituality, purpose, and an elevated, basically epic with business, the fusion paradigm. I created a book called The Conscious Entrepreneur, and I was told by 79 publishing houses, literary agents, and distribution companies that nobody cared about conscious business. Nobody cared about spirituality. Nobody cared about well-being. All they cared about was making money. And I think at the time that was true, but I knew that there was a need for this, because otherwise we were going to end up exactly where we are right now, which is a bunch of people running around not not feeling fulfilled, struggling to get their work out into the world, feeling really, I mean, a lot of the people that I talk to, like, they've either powered through it and they're like burned out, they're done with the hustle, they're done with the grind, or they're still in the middle of it saying, like, there's got to be a better way. Well, the good news is there is. There is a better way to do this. And I will tell you that I had to lose it all to figure that out. So, and that's actually what led to the creation of the Epic AF movement, right? So there was a point where I had everything that the world told me I should want, right? Generating multi-millions of dollars in my business, generating tens of millions of dollars for my clients, very well known in my industry. My book of business was totally booked out. I had the life, I had the home, I had the cars, I had all the things that everyone tells you that you should want, but I really felt emotionally, spiritually, and strategically bankrupt, right? And it wasn't just that I felt this way. Eventually, what ended up happening was my entire business and life came crashing down. And what was so disturbing to me about that is, here I am, a business strategist that is literally helping my clients make tens, hundreds of millions of dollars in their businesses. And my business and life are not working out for me. And I felt like a fraud, even though I knew exactly what I was doing. I just wasn't able to do it for myself. And I didn't understand why. I didn't understand why that I felt like life was happening to me. It was not. In fact, actually, it was the greatest thing that ever happened to me. Losing it all taught me everything I needed to know to go to the next level, right? Everything. Like, at one point I lost my home, I lost relationships, I lost my money, I really was like on the brink of losing my sanity, right? And I had to, because in order for me to learn what I needed to learn so that I can now serve my purpose in the world and teach other entrepreneurs, that's what happened, right? So what I learned through that process was that the real failure wasn't in my business. That was not the source of the failure. It was in not being aligned, not healing my trauma wounds. And it was all about building the version of life and business that was someone else's version of success. And I disappeared inside of it. And I lost my way doing what everyone told me that I needed to be doing. And when I wasn't doing enough of it, they told me to do more, right? You guys, I hustle, I grinded, I got the friggin' t-shirt, and it all fell apart. And when it did, I got to a point in my life where I really had no choice but to surrender. I had to surrender. I was like, I don't, there was, I didn't feel like there was anything else I could do. I couldn't do any more. Something was wrong. And I needed to let it go. That was a process in itself. And I had to make a decision to get to the bottom of whatever this was and why I was choosing to have this experience, why I was having this experience. And the day that I made that decision, which I now call the day that I made the decision to up my standards to epic AF, not just for myself, but for the people that are in my life, for the decisions I made, for my business, for my health, for all the things. It was the most important decision of my life. And that was to stop tolerating that which was not aligned with me creating the epic AF life that I wanted, the epic AF business that I wanted, and to fulfill my purpose and leave my legacy on this planet. And that became the beginning of my epic AF era in business. So the reason that this movement exists is because the old game is broken. The old we are all, and some of us, some people have gotten out of this to a certain extent. Some people are not aware, but the old paradigm is broken. The old playbook, it's old, right? It's coming from generations past, and it's no longer working for more conscious, evolved, visionary leaders. And it's also really just starting to not work for humanity in general, right? If you look at the state of our humanity today, it is not epic, right? I think we can all look at that. We were not meant to trade time for freedom. We were not like scale for having our own sanity, and we were not made to trade profits for purpose. We are meant to have it all, right? And for us to lead a purpose-driven life, and to have, for those of us who are meant on this journey, to have a purpose-driven business and to really fulfill our mission on this planet, right? This is more this is about more than fixing your funnel. It's not about tightening your ops. It's not about your next launch. It's not about whether you do the podcast, you do the video, you do the things, you do the social media. This is not about that, right? Epic AF is not about that. This is about choosing your standard for how you are going to live your life, who you're going to be as the CEO of your organization, who you are going to be as the steward of your mission and your purpose in this world, and how you're going to serve the world, right? It's about who you serve. It's about who and what you lead. And it's about the legacy that you're meant to leave behind in this world. This movement isn't about becoming more of what the world says is successful, because it just doesn't matter. My Epic AF looks totally different than your Epic AF. That looks totally different than the other person who's watching this Epic AF, right? It's about remembering who you really are and building a business and life that reflect that. That is what this movement is about, okay? Because if your business is growing, it doesn't even matter. Like this, it doesn't matter if you're at the beginning of business, if you're thinking about starting a business, if you have a 6-figure business, a 7-figure business. I do this work with 8-figure business owners who are very wealthy and successful, but their soul is starving. They don't feel aligned. They hustled, they grinded, they did all the things, made tons of money, and they don't have the meaning in their life that they desire, right? They don't feel that they are fulfilling their purpose. None of that is success. Having to trade one for the other is not success. It is survival in better clothes with a better bank account. Okay. So through this process of me losing it all and rebuilding myself and having things fall out and having things removed from my life that should not be there is what got me and diving me deep into the ashes where the phoenix had to rise again, right? And looking at myself and doing the healing work and working with a shaman for 6 years, right? This is, by the way, this does not mean I'm perfect. I am certainly not perfect, right? My life is not perfect, but I am aligned with my purpose more than I ever have been before. And I have more faith and more excitement for the work that I'm doing in the world than ever before. Okay. So that is what this journey has taught me. It is where I had to let it all fall apart so that I could actually become awake to what was going on. I removed myself from the mainstream, right? I got off everyone's list. I didn't go to masterminds. I didn't go to seminars. I stopped working with coaches. I stopped all the things. I went inside, both in life and business. I went on a deep healing journey and I really took a step back and looked at what if we didn't follow the old playbook? What if we didn't do it the way that everyone's been teaching you to do it? What if we did something else? And from that, my purpose work was born. First, in the Epic AF framework that I'm going to talk to you about in a moment. By the way, I'm going to tell you how to get these things in a moment. So I will tell you how to do that if that's something you're interested in. Or you can listen to on my podcast for free because this is my legacy work. I want to get out in the world. And then how I rewrote the paradigm for how visionary entrepreneurs can do business in a way that works for them because the current frameworks are not supportive of these highly creative, out of the box thinkers. In fact, the way that we were taught to build our businesses are slowly killing us, right? They're sucking our soul on earth. If you know, you know. All right. So what I did was I went through all of this and then people started asking me like, oh my gosh, like you look so different. You look so happy. Oh my gosh, how did you lose 125 pounds? Oh my gosh, you feel so alive. You seem more peaceful. You, you know, you seem so joyful. Like I want the life, I want the life you're living. You see, like all of these things, or when they found out things about my personal life, my soul child, when they found out things about how I roll in the world or how I'm able to set boundaries, they kept saying, well, how did you do this? How did you do this? How did you do this? This is how I did it. Okay. So I documented it. So the first thing that has to happen, there's 7 stages of this. And I just want to briefly go through this. By the way, if everything that I'm saying right now resonates with you and you want to get into the movement, I'm going to tell you real quick how to do that. Go to epicafmovement.com and in you go, right? There is all the things. There's how to get the podcast, how to get the book, how to get into my premium content community if that's something that you want. There's information about more in-depth master classes or a consulting framework that I created. There's all the things in there for you. Pick and choose for whatever resonates with you. All right. So I want to go through the 7-step framework with you guys really briefly. The first thing that happens is there's awakening, right? This is where you're like, yeah, I see it. We were born into mediocrity. We've been playing by someone else's playbook. And you're right. This does not work. Everyone that I'm talking to, all the partners that I talk to, they're like, yep, this doesn't work. I'm not doing any of that anymore. Okay. This is where you make a choice and you choose to draw a line in the sand. And you're like, I am no longer doing mediocrity. I'm no longer playing by someone else's playbook. I'm no longer building business by the blueprint. I am going to choose my Epic AF standard, one that aligns with my purpose, my gifts, and my desires. That's the awakening. The second thing that happens is the disruption, right? Because once you make that decision, which I do help people make in my public content, then there's the disruption, right? Where now all of a sudden you're like, huh, what does my Epic AF look like? Like, what does that really look like? Like if I took out every single rule or measure of success or all of the things that people told me I should want that make me a good mother, a good father, a good CEO, an ideal son, an ideal partner, an ideal business owner, if I took out everyone else's measure of success and I started measuring by my own metric of success, and that was different, what would that look like? Right? And this is where the disruption happens. This is where you start to realize, oh my gosh, if this is what my epic looks like, this is what my current life looks like. And you're like, ooh, this ain't it. You start to realize, like, oh my gosh, I have been down the rabbit hole, playing by someone else's rules, trying to create a life, trying to hit metrics that literally don't even matter to me. Right. And this is where step 3 comes in, the recalibration. And this is where you reclaim your genius. And you are like, that's it. I'm done. I need to start doing life and business different. And this is where you start to create the plan where you stop working outside of your personal epic AF alignment. You're like, I'm no longer tolerating this. I'm no longer here for this. This is the new policy. I'm not doing this. I don't associate with people that make me feel bad. I'm not hiring people that don't perform. I'm no longer keeping these types of people in my life. I'm no longer tolerating the way my house is. I'm no longer tolerating the way my body is unhealthy, all the things, right? This is where you're like, this is not epic, because now you have a framework. You know what your epic AF looks like. And now we have a framework of what life looks like. No judgment. That's not epic AF, right? It's just like, oh, all right, well, I've done all these things previously when I didn't have this information. Now I have this information. What do I want? No judgment. And then we just make a plan, right? And when you make that plan, you start to emerge, right? And you're like, okay, I'm going to come into life with this plan. And this is where step 4 comes in, the emergence. Because this is where you really have to set your boundaries. Because the minute that you recalibrate to this higher level of frequency, every single person, place, and thing that doesn't align to that frequency is going to start to fall out. And some of them are not going to go quietly. And this is where you need to be really clear on your healthy, loving boundaries for yourself. Because at the end of the day, you have to protect your energy as the steward of your life in order to upgrade your life and your business, right? This is where you're like, I am just not doing this anymore. Like, I'm not running this pattern anymore. I am no longer available for this. I'm no longer willing to tolerate this. This is where you really get these boundaries in place. And it takes a while to flex that muscle, right? And really hold them. Once you've got that in place, this is where we move this, because now, as the CEO of your life and your business, you have a much stronger framework. This is where we then bring it into your business. In stage 5, it's the expansion, right? This is where your business matches your energy and it's no longer draining it. Because now, as the CEO who is recalibrated, who has been awake, who is disrupting the patterns, this is where we are going to align the business with your energy. This is where you're going to start working on the things that light you up, that bring you joy, that fulfill your purpose on this planet. Okay. The next step, once we do that, is what I call the embodiment. And this is more of an energetics thing. This is where you literally step into the identity of the version of the person that already has it. Because in our framework, in Epic and Fusion, it is a fusion of masculine and feminine energy. It is a fusion of energetics and strategy. It is a fusion of being and doing, right? It is a fusion. It's not one or the other. So we are going to energetically lead our business and make sure we're in alignment before we create strategy and start executing. Always. We always have clarity first. We've got strategy, we've got alignment, and then we have execution. Okay. And when you become that version of the person already living the epic life, which, by the way, is a choice, it's not like that means you have to, lose 100 pounds overnight, because that's not realistic here on the planet. But you're going to start to think, act, and behave as though the person who is in your ideal life, your body, your business, your bank account, all the things, then what's going to happen is this is where you get into your epic AF era, right? Where you are going to start to surround yourself with the people who hold you to rise and build a legacy that moves the world. Okay. So, because there's not a ton of people doing this. In fact, my business is not based on quantity. I don't have 100,000 followers on social media because this is a very small percentage. If you're watching this and you're resonating it, you are likely one of the chosen ones. You are one of the people who gets it because you wouldn't have found this otherwise. So this is about that. This is about building that legacy that moves the world. And this is the journey that changed my life. It's how I went from surviving success to embodying legacy, even in the hard times. Because again, no one's life and business is perfect. So this is not about hype. It's about universal truth. It is about why we came to this planet. And quite frankly, it is not for everyone. Not everyone is meant to lead this massive movement, right? Not everyone is meant to build a business. Not everyone is meant to change thought paradigms. That's not why we're all here, right? And by the way, that doesn't mean that anyone's journey or purpose on this planet is anything. It's not like there's a hierarchy, right? Everyone's purpose is equally important. Everyone's life is equally important. Everyone's business is equally important. Okay. But if this is resonating with you, because the people that I'm specializing in serving are these visionary leaders, these people that are here to lead and want to have impact and want to have a purposeful, holistic, legacy-driven business. If this is resonating and you know that you're being called into something deeper, then I want to invite you to join the movement. Okay? So when you go there, it'll tell you exactly how you can get my book and the premium community and trainings. And if you want to join the Epic AF experience or talk about working with me, that's available to you too, right? This is not a sales pitch. It's an invitation for those of you who are ready to rise. If you're not ready, don't do it. If this doesn't resonate with you, don't do it. In fact, please don't, right? We are not about quantity. We're about the right fit. Okay. So you can go to epicafmovement.com. You can DM me. Make sure you follow my social channels. I'd love to know what you thought about this. I'd love to know what sparked for you, right? And please do me a favor. If this sparked for you and you know other people that need to hear this, or you think it would resonate with them, tag someone who needs to hear this. Share this live to your platforms. Because here's the deal, guys. I'm not doing this to make money. That's not why I'm doing what I'm doing. This is literally, if I, you know, if I had $100 million in my bank account right now, I would not try, I would give this away for free or very nominally just to make sure that people use it. This is not about the making of the money. This is about the work I'm here to do in the world, the contribution that I made to provide to humanity. And I'm not going to be able to do this thing by myself, right? One of the things we teach inside of our work is we are in a collaboration economy. So if this resonates with you and you got value out of it, I would love if you would share it because you guys are the ones that are going to create the movement. You guys are the ones that are going to make this spread around. You're the ones that are going to help me reach the other visionaries who need this work. It's not just about building businesses, right? It's about building lives worth living. So I would, again, love to hear what you have to say. And I want to just leave you with this. You only get one life this time. That's debatable. Some of us have come back many, many times. But this life that we're living in right now, one shot, it's a blip. You don't need to earn the right to live epic AF. It's already available to you. You wouldn't have seen this without it. You just need to make a decision. All right, guys, thanks so much for joining me today. Thanks for listening. And I can't wait to welcome you into the epic AF world.